Well, today is Thursday, February 18th, 2016. I'm just doing an update video on the Ferguson 30 here. It's a 1952 Ferguson To-30. I got a lot of parts sitting here, as you can see. I took and rebuilt the front of the grill. It was all beat to snot. It was really not very nice looking. It was decided to be used as a Holstein battering ram to get the Holstein milk cows in. So, and that was almost 20 years ago when that was going on. So I don't have any recollection of that, and I don't have anything, and it didn't have anything to say about it. So that, and I took and I rebuilt this gearbox and put 2 new seals in it, 3 new brass bushings. There's 1 in the center and then 2 on the outsides to hold the steering arms. The funny thing is that box is aluminum with brass bushings and cast or poured metal arms. So I rebuilt that, cleaned it out. It looked disgusting. I had some help with Reese. By Reese Holler. I don't know if you guys know him. He helped me get this thing tore apart and cleaned out. Then we got, let's see what else we got. Oh, the dash over there. I redid wiring for the dash. And then the frame here is what the front axle teeters on, and that's what those 4 bolts there bolt to the front of the engine. To hold the front end onto the engine housing. So now we go over here, and right now I got this all cleaned out. Pulled both the brake shaft and the clutch shaft out. Pulled out the yoke up here, all this stuff here, to get everything cleaned up. So it is all nice and clean in there. Let me trust me, before it was nasty in here. I got to get a new pilot bearing, or a new throwout bearing. The bearings were shot. I also went, and for you guys who do not know Ferguson's very well, this 35 or this To-30, pardon my language, has a special way of starting it. For those who don't know it, you would sit here and look and turn the key switch over and not understand why it won't turn over. What you do is you take your lever here, your gear selector, you go all the way to the right, and there's an S right here on this thing. And you go all the way to the right and forward, and that actually moves this, which is the starter switch. You know, like on your farmalls, you step on that pedal, or you pull on your supers, you pull the loop, and that engages kicks that cylinder, that switch over. That's the switch for this tractor. So, as you can see, I've got a lot of work into this thing. I pulled this cover off, and the gasket that was in there needed to be replaced, as well as the gaskets on here and the other side. Replaced both of those gaskets. And when I opened this up, I found the oil in there was nasty. So I found all 3 plugs underneath the tractor, and I drained all the transmission fluid out of it, washed it up, rebuilt this gasket, made a new gasket and used gasket maker. And then I filled this, did that with this shifter here with the gearbox, and on the back side with the PTO, pulled the PTO shaft out. So that's a slight update. I'm glad I did. I got the engine block over there. You can see the cat sitting on the engine block. So just kind of been tinkering, working, waiting. Now I'm waiting for parts. So, but I had to have the crankshaft ground to 20 thousandths on the mains and 30 thousandths on the rod bearings. So But no, I got quite a bit done. And I pulled the PTO shaft out and replaced the seal in the end of that because that was bad. Had to straighten out the arm here and fix some stuff around here. Pulled the rear wheels off, put new bolts in for the fenders. I pulled the rear wheels off, which are full of fluid, and by the way, very freaking heavy. Got into the belt, into the brake housing, into the housing for the well, it's the brake drum housing in there. Got into that, and I cleaned everything out, and they're good. Don't worry, I didn't use anything abrasive, no oils, greases, or anything like that to make my brakes goofy. I just cleaned in there and did what I normally do with that. And if I need to get into the transmission later, then I'll just take and pull the cover off. This cover with the 3-point arms sitting in it, because then it will that I can get into the transmission. Then that would be the next thing to do if I'd have to get into the transmission, would be to work on that 3-point, and then maybe pull the axles off and replace the seals on the axle seals and everything. But we'll have to see by that when that time comes. So for now, that's kind of what's going on. I got that stuff there, like I said, and then I got the cat sitting on my engine block. I got the block covered so that way the cats can't do anything to it. I got all the sleeves sitting here. Those are the old ones I got to pull out. The bad thing is they're wet sleeved. So when I go to put the new sleeves in, I have to very, very carefully insert the seals so that way I do not screw the new sleeves up, or the new seals up, so that way the sleeves and everything seal. But for that, I got the engine block under here, and I got the oil pan there, I believe, and underneath here in this blue tote is more parts. There's the shot manifold. I got to put a new manifold on it. So for that, it's kind of how things sit. I'm working on an old circle saw right now, so that's just kind of how things are going with it. So like I say, in 1952 Ferguson To-30 will live again. It just lived before it. It was pretty pathetic. So, and this was a wedding gift. This one and my Massey Ferguson 35 Deluxe 63 model were wedding gifts. So I decided to overhaul this little bugger, so that way I don't have to do it later, and that way it's in good shape when it comes time to run it again. So for that'll be that. So until next video.